Hello, and welcome to Winter Solace and the Asylum for Art. My name is Scott Arnold. Today is Chinese New Year, and so we have JiaJIa Li here playing her bamboo flute and her traditional silver flute. After the show, we're going to do a question and answer period, so if you'd like to ask a question in the comment field below, we'll ask JiaJIa at the end of the show. And then there's a little button there that says, tell us what you think. And that'll be very helpful to let us know how we can improve on this for next year and the best way to make this continue. And certainly we like to hear all the happy stories of listening to these shows. So without further ado, JiaJIa Li.
Hello everyone, my name is JiaJIa Li. I'm a flutist. Welcome to another week of Winter Solace. Thank you, Instrumental Society, Calgary, and Aaron to have me here this week. And thanks Asylum for Art and Scott to hosting this wonderful event. Today I will share a little bit of my own music journey with you. The piece that you just heard was by French composer Pierre-Octave Verroux. He was a composer, was born in 1900, and this piece was written when he was only 20. So there are three of the suite, and then I play the second one, which is called the Jade. So each of these three pieces demonstrates the significant influence from East Asian music, a common trend in the 20th century. I started my set for today's concert with this piece of music is because I am actually the most familiar with Western classical music and Western flute. I was born and raised in China. I started playing the flute when I was 10 and started pursuing my music studying in Toronto and Germany afterwards. It was not until that I moved to Calgary in 2014, I started gaining more interest in Chinese music, as well as finding my own identity and my own roots. So one of the pieces that I was, it was kind of like the first piece that really influenced me or touched me throughout my childhood. It was this piece called The Flute and the Drum Under the Sunset. It was originally written for solo pipa, which is a Chinese lute instrument. my mom plays that instrument. So I actually heard a lot of that piece through growing up in back home. I'm going to play this piece on the Western flute. And it was an arrangement made by the Chinese-Canadian flutist, Mr. Mi Zitan. She's based in Toronto. So I hope you like it. Oh, so Scott was asking yesterday, who is playing the drum? So, so you'll find out for this piece, flute and drum under the sunset. Thank you. I'm going to play a couple songs with a bamboo flute, which is called 笛子 here. So flutes could be dated back 9,000 years with this bone flute. And it was until 5th century BC, the bamboo flute has already appeared in China. Like any other flutes in the world, bamboo flute 笛子 has a blowing hole and 6 holes for the fingers. But the unique thing is it also has this other hole, which is called 模孔, to put on a piece of very, very thin, kind of like a onion skin, but it's not. It's actually made of the inner skin of the reed. So this very thin layer creates this very buzzing characteristic sound of the bamboo flute, the buzzing sound. I'm going to be playing 3 songs, short folk songs from China. The first one is called the Purple Bamboo Tune. It is from the Jiangsu area, which is southern China. And the piece was also adapted into Shanghainese opera later on. And then the second song is going to be called Cai Cha Deng. So picking the tea leaves. So in the Fujian area, which they have a lot of tea growing business there. So if you love Chinese tea, the tea are all from that area. So this little song here is depicting the when they're picking the tea during the harvest time. And then the third song is called the literal translation Golden Snake Crazy Dance, 金蛇狂舞. So this is a very typical song that we play during the Chinese New Year. As Scott introduced earlier, so today's concert was also dedicated for Chinese New Year. And today, I think is the 10th day of the Chinese New Year. Traditionally, we actually celebrate for 15 days. So it's still part of the Chinese New Year. So I hope everyone happy Year of the Ox. 新春快乐，恭喜发财. So I hope you like the song. 3 songs. Thank you. I have been going to China in the past a few years, learning the bamboo flute. This one that I just played is called a piccolo bamboo flute. It's very high in pitch. And this flute is actually best fit for playing this northern style Chinese music. The next piece I'll be playing for you, which is called Nao Hua Deng, by this flute virtuosic and composer named Feng Zicun. So he was so good as a player that he whatever he plays, and then he just it becomes like his own kind of style in the northern China, and he adapted a lot of this type of music, which is the Inner Mongolia type of opera. It's very dramatic with two people are talking, and it also so this piece is for Dizi and a small percussion ensemble, and the name of the song Nao Hua Deng means it's kind of like it's for Lantern Festival. So Lantern Festival again is Chinese New Year related festival, which happens on the 15th day of Chinese New Year, which is the last day for the celebration. And yeah, so this song is you can imagine like on theater, and two people are singing, maybe doing something, and there's a small percussion ensemble over there. However, today I'll be all interpreting that on my Dizi bamboo flute. So I hope you like it. I think we're gonna calm down a little bit after that. I'm going to play a song, a unique song. It's called A Fluting Moment. Fluting Moment. I have been personally very interested in improvisation in the past couple of years, and I took a lot of things as inspiration when I improvise. Things in a room, things I see, sound I hear, and particularly there is a composer named Pauline Oliveros. She is an American composer, passed away in 2016. Pauline, except for her countless contribution to the new music, electronic music scene, her big interest is this investigation, new ways to focus attention on music, including her concept, which is called deep listening and sonic awareness. So this piece I'm going to play is by Pauline. It is written so-called a text score. I'm going to read you what is the instruction for this piece. And and I hope maybe we all have a calming moment together, and then you could also do some breathing and then hear your breathing and then trying to hear what you can hear when you're breathing. So here's a piece, A Fluting Moment. Breathe. Allow your breath to flow freely through the flute. Keep the breath flowing, listening to how it changes as it sounds through the flute. When your breath is flowing like a calm mountain stream, gradually add key clicks to the breath. Place the key clicks like water currents hitting rocks in a riverbed. Keep the sound of breath and key clicks flowing. Notice your surroundings. Acknowledge any sounds that may occur as part of your breath and key clicks flow. Notice an object or a person in your surroundings. With the breath and key clicks continuing throughout the piece, acknowledge an object or person with an instantaneous pitch. Notice the dynamic, timbre, and feeling of each acknowledgement. Continue with a different pitch for each object or person that you notice with only a very momentary interruption of breath and key clicks. And when you feel satisfied and you have noticed and acknowledged all objects and persons. It's been a pleasure to be here, and I also feel very lucky to be able to play and perform still for all of you, thanks to the Instrumental Society Calgary, as well as Asylum of Art. Thank you guys for having me. I'm going to end today's program with a piece called A Spring Morning. It's a newish work written in 2015 by my dear friend, composer Stephen Yip. He is a Hong Kong American composer based in the States right now. So I have a lot of passion for new music and new works. I found it's important to present what is written nowadays and to show it to the audience. So this piece is a very interesting piece and also fits the theme of today. The name A Spring Morning, 春晓, it's the inspiration of the piece comes from one of the Chinese 300 Tang poems by a poet, Meng Haoran. So the poem has 4 sentences, or what do you say, lines, and so the composer took each line as a section for the piece. So there are going to be 4 sections for this piece. The piece is written for flute as well as the voice. So you'll be hear me reciting parts of the poem sometimes, and I'll be also singing sometimes. There's a lot of so-called extended techniques on flute in the improvisation piece. Earlier you heard some peak licks. And then there is something called a tongue rum, sounds like this. Something like that. And then there's some singing, as I said earlier, going together with the flute at the same time. Things like that. So it's really fun. I will be playing only the first 2 parts today for you. So I hope you enjoy it. 春眠不觉晓, this morning of spring, in bed I'm lying. Xiao, xiao. Xiao, xiao. 处处闻啼鸟. Not woke up till I hear birds crying. T T T T T T T T T T T T T T. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, I forgot to use the talk mic. Oops.
That's okay. These
Sorry.
these microphones are picking up fairly well.
Great.
But
sorry, Scott.
yeah,
Thank you.
that's all great. Oop, we're on the wrong camera here. All right. Well, that was very cool. I'm a fan.
Yay!
Woohoo! All right.
Thank you.
So let's where did there it is. All right. So let's see what people said here. Oh, I gotta log on here. Sorry, I'm not on it. You're Scott. I accept terms. Join. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
That was wonderful. I really
so
enjoyed
much.
that. Holy cow! Look at all these comments.
Oh.
All right, someone is excited. Grace, and Thomas Wanks hasn't started yet. I'm not sure why that is. Anyway, hello, beautiful. Hello. Oh, look at all this clapping. I guess it did start finally.
Yay! I can hear you in my imagination.
What a wonderful world amidst all that's happening around us. All right, love it. Wow, that's awesome. It's a really wonderful experience and talent in our city, and the magic amidst all this unfamiliar soothes and nourishes the self.
Aw.
Wow, JiaJIa. JiaJIa, is that how you put
Yeah,
JiaJIa?
I call myself JiaJIa.
JiaJIa.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the traditional Chinese pronunciation?
Yeah, so in Chinese it's actually JiaJIa, but you know the J sound is So I always call myself JiaJIa.
It's probably for the best,
Exactly.
I'd say.
Yeah.
Thank you for the rich celebration of the flute and of music from different parts of China, also contemporary music and ways of listening. Happy New Year to you.
Oh, thank you. Happy New Year.
We know that you're a part of the film release for Lunar New Year with Calgary Chinese Orchestra. Could you please tell us about that?
Yes. Oh, I'm so glad someone asked. So I am the artistic director of Calgary Chinese Orchestra. So the orchestra, we play Chinese instruments and Chinese music specifically. And for this Chinese New Year, we actually made a special short film about classic Chinese erhu piece. Do you know what erhu is, Scott?
I do not know.
So it's this two-stringed bowing instrument, which you have the bow in between the strings and then to play. Yeah, it's really cool. So so we had a short film dedicated to this piece, and there's a little history about it, and also the instrument. And then so for the music part, we had open call earlier in the last 2 weeks, last couple months, to our communities. Just send us your version, your rendition of the piece, and then we actually managed to receive 72 submissions, and then we put it all together.
Holy cow.
So go check it out. It's called Horse Race, the song, and then if you go to YouTube and search Calgary Chinese Orchestra, you find the film there as well as the music video.
Oh, that's very cool. And so all these people are from
everywhere.
Calgary?
So everywhere across Canada, Vancouver, Toronto, Windsor, Ottawa, as well as some parts in the States, Singapore, China. So we're really overwhelmed for the project. It was really cool.
That was very cool. I'm definitely going to check that out.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. I did not realize the versatility of the flute in the sounds that it can make. So beautiful and haunting, very spiritual sounding at times. All the emotions of humans, probably.
Yeah, flute to me is always like an instrument that's closest to singing or speaking, because of the nature is an open hole, right? So it really, when I'm playing, I feel like the flute is just kind of like an amplifier for what I'm doing. So it is very, very close. I think maybe because it's very close to speaking, so this emotions can really easy to bring it out, and all these beautiful sounds that you can create on both instruments. So thank you.
It's true. Yeah, it was like we had birds tweeting in the background and rivers trickling down and whatever. It was very cool.
Right.
And I love that about new music, where they're really expanding the language that these instruments can make.
Exactly.
So so I'm looking forward to hearing more of that for sure.
Thank you.
Okay, where are we? Really fascinating, something completely new for my ears. Thank you. And thanks, JiaJIa. Happy to know what you can do.
Great.
You have proven yourself. Okay, do you teach? And if so, do you teach traditional Western method as you were initially taught, or a combination of Chinese and Western method?
Yes, I do. So I teach at the Monroe Conservatory, and I teach both Western flute as well as Chinese bamboo flute. So again, like my method of teaching is also combinations of all these times that I learned from China, and also went abroad, Toronto, Germany, and everywhere. It's like combination of things, as well as if you're interested in learning Chinese music and Chinese flute, I can certainly include that into the education a little bit too, as well. Yeah,
very cool. Okay, nice, very good performance. What are the biggest differences between playing Western and Chinese flutes?
I think in a way, it's very similar to me. The foundations are very similar. You all need air to play, you need fingers to move. So I think the main difference is it's just this style. As I said, the reason that I actually wanted to make the trip to China to learn from these masters is just because, you know, everybody can read, like we can learn and we can hear, but you know, some things about the style of the music that you just need a teacher or like a master to tell you. So a lot of different finger techniques, because you know, as you see, bamboo flute has only holes, right? So then that opens up a lot of different possibilities than, you know, using keys on the Western flute. Yeah, so yeah, I've been really having a blast exploring this new area, and I'm still learning, and yeah, so it's been pretty fun.
Yeah, that's interesting. And so with the having holes rather than valves, so I guess that allows you to like bend notes and to slide from one to the other.
Yeah, exactly. Bending and also doing some like different effects, and then which suits for a certain type of music, right? So like for this music, you just have to do something like that. So yeah, so it's I found, you know, like technique has to serve the music. It's always that you cannot separate the two. So yeah, so yeah, it's been pretty fun.
Yeah, very cool. Well, thank you for coming by today.
Thank you so much for having me.
And I hope that we'll be able to have you back at some point soon. And yeah, and Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
And don't forget to click the little box at the bottom to tell us what you think about the show and the production and whatever other sort of things you might want to tell us about that. And we'd appreciate that. Okay, thank you, and have a good afternoon.
Thank you.